One of the first things I needed to do for our 2023 garden is go through all of our old and new seeds and sort them between what needs to be started indoors ahead of our June 2nd last frost date, and those that need to be direct sown. And then once those are sorted out, then we can start figuring out which ones have to be started the earliest, such as the onions, which should already have been started by now. We found the only way to protect our seed starts from the cats has been to start them inside of a large aquarium that we have. And since the lights can't be lowered to the height appropriate for the seed trays, we have to actually lift them up higher. So this is what we have to set up inside of our aquarium to have our first seed tray on a heat mat. Going through the old seeds and looking at the leafy greens, I probably should have done this before I ordered more seeds, because I completely forgot I had seeds left for 3 different kinds of spinach. I probably won't plant any of these varieties and just stick with the new ones that I got for this year. With the chard, there are 2 varieties that got mixed up together in the package there. As much as I'd like to try the purple kohlrabi, it has failed for us every time we've tried it, so I probably won't again. The romaine lettuce is actually a package of seed I found in the house while cleaning through it, so it's been here longer than we have. We probably won't be doing either of the lettuces. We weren't planning to do any lettuce at all this year. We were going to go with just one variety of beets that we bought for this year, but I might try planting some of the Cylindra beets. We'll see what kind of space we have, and some of the Purple Prince turnips we might try again. The pelleted carrots, there's still a lot of seeds left. We might try planting those. It depends on how much space we have. There are still plenty of radish seeds left. I was only growing them because I wanted to try what the seed pods tasted like, because we're not big fans of radish in our household. So I'm not sure that we'll bother planting any radishes this year at all. The beans in the jar are some from my mother that are actually from beans that she used to grow here over time, and she gave seeds to my sister, and then my sister ended up giving seeds to her, and she gave the seeds back to me. So we'll try those. The blue-gray speckled tepary beans are ones that we saved ourselves, as are the King Tut purple peas. The bottom 3 packages, the Carmenat and Seychelles beans, they did very well, but we're trying new varieties this year. And there is a single red noodle bean that got hung up in the package, and I'll probably try and plant that just to see how it does. I was actually surprised to see how many corn seeds we had left. There is a few Tom Thumb popcorn left. The Latte Bicolor is one that we grew last year. Both got flooded out, so they did not succeed. The Peaches and Cream and Sweetness Bicolor are both seeds from the previous year. We probably won't be planting those. The Hungarian blue bread seeds and the strawberry spinach are both things we intended to plant last year. They are likely to self-seed easily, so we wanted to plant them someplace where we could treat them as a perennial, and we never had a spot available for them, so I'm hoping to plant these this year. These are herb seeds that we got last year that we just did not have a chance to plant. The thyme should actually be started indoors. The others theoretically can be direct sown. The dill, we actually have another variety of collected seeds, and I'm hoping to get our herb garden in action this year. I actually didn't think we had any of the Purple Beauty bell pepper and wonderberry seeds left over. We have a different variety of cucumber to try this year, so we may or may not plant more of the Eureka cucumber. And we have a lot of different peppers, so I don't know if we'll bother with the Purple Beauty bell pepper. As for the wonderberry, it's supposed to be something that self-seeds easily, so I'm not going to try starting new seeds for this year and just see how the ones from last year manage, whether or not they did indeed self-seed. Of the seeds we saved from last year, the Cup of Moldova paste tomato and the Sophie's Choice are both more rare varieties. The chocolate cherry, we have some leftover seeds, and as well as those we saved, so we'll hang on to those. We're not going to bother planting the yellow pear tomato again. They were very prolific, but didn't match up on the flavor. There's only 5 seeds left in the spoon tomato envelope. And we're actually going to try growing those because when I looked at buying more of them, the packages now come with only 10 seeds in them, and they're really, really expensive. So I want to at least grow them and see if we can save them for seed. Last year, our melons and squash did basically nothing at all, mostly because of the flooding. The previous year, we had good success with the Halona melon and saved lots of seeds from there, though we still have some seeds left. Other melon seeds we saved from grocery store melons. The red curry squash is a winter squash that we quite enjoyed. And the zucca melon and the watermelon, they both just drowned out last year. So we're going to try those again. I actually got fresh seed for the zucca melon. I was very happy to see I still had luffa seeds left. I was not able to get more this year. The Ozark nest egg beside the luffa did really well last year. Looking forward to planting more of those, as did the Tennessee dancing gourds. The others, I did not even try to plant several of them, but the apple gourds did quite well. They didn't finish growing because of the terrible growing year we had, but once they did start growing, they did very well. And the canteen gourd, they just didn't make it. We had purchased a collection of summer squash seeds, and I accidentally bought 3 of them. So we have tons of summer squash seeds with the Goldie, the Endeavor, the Magda, and the Sunburst patty pan squash. The G-Star is a squash that we got sent the seeds by mistake, and I'm quite happy with them, and I'm looking forward to growing all of these again. Last year, the G-Star was the only one that actually really produced anything because the other ones did not do well in our very, very wet summer. I was happy to find that we still had some baby Pam pumpkin seeds because I've not been able to find more of them. We actually did get pumpkins from them last year. As for the Hullis pumpkins, the 3 varieties, I did get fresh seeds for all 3 of them, so we'll probably be planting from those instead. Last year was an absolutely devastating year for the winter squash. The only ones that started to recover from all the flooding was the Boston marrow, and there was just, really tiny fruit that was by the end of the season. So I look forward to trying these again. Okay, going into our new seeds, we only bought the spinach, got the others as free seeds. I think I'll try the one from Heritage Harvest and the bok choy just to see how they turn out because they look really, really interesting. When it comes to the root vegetables, we're trying old and new in here. The salsify is a new thing. We got from 2 different sources of the same variety. Those will be grown in something like a garbage can or something large because they have such delicate roots apparently. The gold ball turnip we grew last year and got devastated by insects before they got anything more than their seed leaves, so we'll have to take extra protection for those. The Uzbek golden carrot, we quite enjoyed those last year. The navel carrot is a new variety. The Merlin beet we've had before and quite liked them, so that was going to be the one type of beet we were going to grow again. As you can see, we've got a lot of beans that will be growing this year. Of the new seeds that we got, the Lewis beans we've had before. The other 2 are new. The Dalve peas, a shelling pea, we've had those from a couple years ago. With the corn varieties, I especially want to try the Yukon Chief and the Orchard Baby because they're supposed to be better for our climate. But I have some plans for the Tom Thumb popcorn as well, and we'll see if we can plant the espresso, but if we don't plant them all this year, that's okay. With the new seeds for the things that we have to start indoors, the earliest that needs to be started is the varieties of onions we have this year. This was done on January 18, which is already kind of late for starting onions indoors. So we got 4 different varieties. The Red of Florence we grew last year. They did very well. The others are new varieties that we're trying. The peppers, I'll have to double check with the sweet chocolate, but the others are early varieties. So while they should actually be started in January in our zone, these are early varieties, so we might not actually have to start them indoors until, March or even April. Here are some more items that need to be started quite early in our zone. We have 3 new types of tomatoes to try. The little finger eggplant we grew last year, and the ones that were in a grow bag actually did remarkably well. They didn't reach full maturity, but it was better than anything else. Lemon cucumber is new to us. And the herbs, the lemongrass is actually a zone 8 thing, so that will be planted quite early and in a pot, and it's going to stay in a pot and in a microclimate once we put the pot outside. Okay, going into the new seeds for the melons and gourds. Pixie melon is something we grew a couple years ago. They did very well. It was a drought that year, and they did not reach full potential, but they were still quite tasty. The Sarah's Choice is a short season variety we want to try. Hopefully the Cream of Saskatchewan watermelon is a nice short season variety that will actually work. The Canteen gourd, I have to resist starting them too early indoors, because last year by the time they were ready to be transplanted outside, they had outgrown their pots, getting really, really leggy, and were even starting to bloom, which is just way too early for by the time we could plant them outside. I'm looking forward to trying the African drum gourd, which has a surprisingly short growing season. I think it's like 110 days or something like that. So that should be really interesting to try. Here we have fresh seeds for the 3 varieties of hulless pumpkins to do again. I did the candy roaster from a different company just to see how those go. The Boston Marrow, hopefully we'll actually be able to get a full growing season out of them. The pink banana is a new one that I want to try. And then there's the red warty thing. And to be honest, I got that for the name because how can you resist something that's named red warty thing? When it comes to starting the seeds indoors, I got a potting mix, just, Walmart's Miracle Grower, whatever the brand was. And first thing I do, I have this gigantic bowl that I use. I dump the potting mix in there and give it a good moistening first. For the different varieties of onions, the red Weathersfield, that's both packages in one bowl. I got 2 packages because there was only like 25 seeds per envelope. And this just gives me an idea of the containers that I need to plant them in. I start onions differently using a method that I got from M.I. Gardener, and just bulk planting them densely in containers. And in this case I've got some takeout containers and a mushroom container. Just poke some holes in the bottom for drainage first. The seeds just get scattered over the soil surface, which has been packed down to make sure that there's no air pockets that the roots would be disturbed by. And after spreading them evenly, and even after I took this picture, I tried to spread them out a bit more as well. They just need to be topped up with a light layer of soil. After covering the seeds, they got a good spray of water, and then just loosely covered with lids from takeout containers. I got a whole bunch of these 9x13 baking trays specifically to use in starting seeds, so it's more easy to carry things from place to place. And in this case, it gave me some place to put water on the bottom so that the seeds can get water from below through capillary action. These were all the luffa seeds that were left in the package, which was actually more than I expected. From these, I picked 8 of the roundest, fattest looking seeds and set them aside. I scarified them a little bit and left them to soak. The seeds were soaking in water the entire time I was working with all the other stuff. For these, I planted them in pots that can go directly into the soil, so there's no transplant shock. And if for some reason they end up outgrowing these pots, I can also pot them up into larger pots that can be direct sown into the ground. Another mushroom container makes a great tray to hold exactly 4 of these pots, and I just put 2 seeds into each. Hopefully I'll get at least 1 out of each, but these are like 3-year-old seeds, so we'll see how they do. The mushroom container that the pots are in was the perfect size for all 4 pots, but also perfect for putting a considerable amount of water. I didn't want the dry pots to take too much moisture out of the soil that is needed for the seeds, so the water is as much to moisten the pots as it is for the soil itself. And there wasn't any room on the heat mat, and I only have 1 heat mat, so what I did was I raised the whole thing higher and closer to the lights so that hopefully the lights will provide a bit of extra warmth as well. And there we have it. We have officially started growing for our 2023 garden in the middle of January. And hopefully we'll have a much better growing year this year.